If you had to ever own just one car, something that can get you to work and back, carry your family, take you camping, and still give you a taste of EV silence, this might be it. This is the Volvo XC90 facelift, and it proves that sometimes one car really can do it all. Well, nearly anyway, because it can't do the fancy sporty stuff, but yeah, who wants that in an SUV anyways? This is the XC90 T8 Ultra, a new name that arrived when Volvo launched this facelift model. And while it doesn't shout for attention, it's the kind of update that refines what was already a great SUV. The most obvious changes is up front, a new grille with a criss-cross slat pattern, replacing the old horizontal bars. To me, it adds depth and texture, framing that classic iron mark, and diagonal chrome bars with a cleaner, more modern look. Well, the lights are new too. The bumper has also been tweaked with a wider central air intake and slimmer corner inlets, giving the XC90 a broader, more confident stance.
And unfortunately, that's where the new look ends. I mean, the rear bumper has just been cleaned up, the lower portion, but you'd really have to get a magnifying glass to check all these things out. But I think that new front end is just done enough to make it look modern, 2025 modern that is.
Step inside and it's familiar and it's classic Volvo, clean, minimal and beautifully crafted. The charcoal Napa leather upholstery and grey ashwood decor brings warmth and understated luxury. Volvo has moved to a larger 11.2-inch portrait touchscreen that sits more prominently in the dash. The display offers about 21% higher pixel density, making graphics sharper, text clearer, and the whole interface feels more simpler and straightforward. Yes, this is all nice, but the way it sits there protruding out feels a bit lazy to me from a design point of view. With Mercedes, BMW, Audi, even Volkswagen upping their game around that area, the Volvos just feels a bit outdated, in my personal opinion. But hey, it works. Maybe it's just annoying to me because everything else in this cabin is just luxe, and then there's just that. Anyway, the panoramic sunroof adds light and openness, while the PM 2.5 sensor keeps the cabin fresh even in city traffic.
In the second row, it's business as usual, a comfortable place to be in, with the outer seats giving you a lot of bolstering and support, with the middle seat not so much. But it should be fine on shorter trips. Also, there's aircon controls and 2 air vents. Anyhow, I think this is where the Volvo XC90 excels over its competitors, the third row. Usually third rows are a novelty, but in the XC90, it's actually worthy of usage.
Well, what about the third row? Well, nothing has changed here, and I'm glad because I think a lot of people buy the XC90 for this area too. I mean, in a lot of SUVs, large SUVs anyway, with 7 seats, this area is always compromised. I mean, yeah, the seats are a bit upright, but you can slot your feet underneath the second row seats and try to get a more lean back position. I mean, in a lot of SUVs, the third row is just pretty much unusable. I mean, you would get frustrated, but I think in the XC90, this is one of its strengths. I mean, Volvo really thought this through. If you want a big SUV that you can probably just carry a lot of people, this is the one to go for. I mean, there's air conditioning here, there's cup holders, so it is quite a good area for short distances, maybe long distances for kids.
But the marvel of space provided in the XC90 doesn't end there, because usually when 7 seats are up, this area is pretty much a no-go, especially if you plan to bring some luggage with you.
Usually, an SUV with 7 seats means the boot space is compromised. Yes, it is compromised, but still, there is some room to put luggages in the XC90. So yeah, I mean, if you pack light, 7 people can get their stuff in this car and all go for a road trip.
Let's say you're never gonna use those 2 seats at the third row. Well, this just makes the XC90 into an SUV with a really big boot. One that can help you carry a lot of stuff and make this by the riverside. So there you go, versatile, right? Make it as you wish. And of course, this is a Volvo, so the safety list is comprehensive. You get front, side, curtain and driver's knee airbags, an integrated booster cushion and ISOFIX mounts. There's the collision avoidance mitigation, steering avoidance with pedestrian, cyclist and scooter detection. Basically, if there's a way to keep you out of trouble, the XC90 has it built in.
So, on the move, the XC90 T8 Ultra is one of the most EV-like hybrids you'll ever drive. The gearbox is so smooth, it feels almost non-existent, and the switch from electric to petrol power is nearly imperceptible. Underneath, it still uses the same proven plug-in hybrid setup, a 2-litre engine paired with an electric motor, delivering a strong, quiet and linear performance in both city traffic and on the open road. What you feel most isn't brute force, but effortlessness. It glides, it flows, and it never feels like it's working hard. The air suspension also plays a huge part in that. It soaks up bad roads beautifully, potholes, joints, speed bumps, all smoothed out before they reach you. The ride feels controlled and cushy, and even when you load it up with passengers or luggage, the XC90 stays level and composed. The steering too gives you this luxury feel. It just feels effortless to handle, smooth and doesn't make you work hard. The steering weight is on the lighter side, but there's a good feel. I honestly have no complaints about it, but I can see some who like to feel the road a bit more will have something not too nice things to say about it. But it's not pretending to be sporty. Push it through corners a bit too much and you'll feel a bit of that wallow, like a very graceful hippo. It moves around slightly, but always with stability and confidence. It's comfort first, agility second, and honestly, that's exactly how a luxury 7-seater SUV should feel in my opinion. Being a PHEV, the XC90 T8 has the ability to drive like an EV. So if you're just cruising in town between tight streets and small little roads, it'll mostly behave like an EV. It's all electric power. It's when you go to like interstate highways, the engine will kick in. Anything above 80, 100, the engine will try to support that electric motor. But I think most of the time, even when the engine kicks in, it still feels like an EV to drive. I think only at higher speeds, like beyond legal limits, is when you'll start to notice the engine operating and taking over the control of the powertrain. So how much will this one and done set you back? Well, the XC90 T8 Ultra sits at 434,888 ringgit on the road without insurance. That's roughly 2,000 ringgit more than the previous ultimate variant, the top variant anyway. So do you think that's a fair trade for the extra equipment and refinements? I'll leave that one to you, but I think that's not much of a price hike. This could be your one and done, and if you have no plans to have more than one car at home and had the moolah to consider buying it, look no further, I think, because I think compared to a lot of SUVs this size, it is quite the complete set. Price is okay, there's value for money. Yes, the design, there's not much facelift going on here, but I still think for a lot of families, this can be such a usable vehicle.